दायन भाषी नमो नमः तुलसी कृष्ण प्रियासी नमो नमः।
We're reading
Chapter 9 Appearance of Demon Vitrasu, text 37.
ऊपर क्या चल रहा है? भक्ति सुधार जी हाँ, the story is proper जी हाँ, भक्ति सिद्धांत भाई हो ठीक। Chapter 1.
Chapter 1 Pride and Humility. Once a fierce battle took place between the demons and the demigods. Having defeated the demons, the demigods were certainly very much elated. The demigods came out victorious only because of the potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the demigods, oblivious to the Lord's mercy and power, began to glorify their own strength and expertise instead. Thus pride is increased within their hearts, and also the respect and glorification sung by others about their victory. They began to accept all of those upon themselves rather than offering them to God. The Lord, seeing the demigods' state of ignorance, desired to take away their arrogance and thus appeared among them in a disguise. When the demigods saw the disguised Lord present amongst them, they could not recognize who he was. The demigod requested Agni, the god of fire, as follows: please try to find out who this worshipable personality is who has appeared among us, and tell us clearly about his identity. When Agni appeared before the Lord, the great personality asked, who are you? Agni replied, I am the all-famous Jataveda, the omniscient one. The Supreme Personality of Godhead inquired, what power do you possess? Agni answered, whatever is present on earth, within a moment I can turn it into ashes. Then the Lord placed a blade of grass in front of Agni and said, please burn this. Agni approached the blade of grass and with all his strength attempted to burn it but failed to do so. Baffled in his futile attempt, he went back to the demigods and told them, I was unable to find out who the great personality is. The demigods thereafter sent Vayu, the wind god, to the Lord to find out who he was. The Lord, the Supreme Personality Godhead, asked, what is your ability? Vayu replied, there is nothing on this earth that I cannot consume. The Supreme Lord then placed a blade of grass near Vayu and asked him to consume that. Although Vayu utilized all his strength, he was unable to move the blade of grass even an inch. He returned back to the demigods and told them, I couldn't find out who this great personality is. Thereafter the demigod requested Indra, the king of heaven, to find out the identity of the great personality. As Indra approached the Lord, he was completely amazed to see the most beautiful Uma Devi, the consort of Lord Shiva, descend from the sky. He went to her and respectfully inquired, "Who is this great personality?" Uma Devi then answered, "He is the supreme Brahman himself. Because of his victory only are you all glorified. In his strength lies your strength. When he takes away the power sanctioned to you by him, then all of you will no longer have any value. The one and only Supreme Brahman, he is the original owner of all abilities and expertise, valor and strength that he possesses. He is a mechanic and you are just like the mere machines. At any point of time, whenever you begin to consider that whatever you have been able to accomplish is solely because of your own potency, the Supreme Brahman will take away all your powers immediately. Those who neglect the authority of the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord and desire to assert the name, fame, and adoration which are eternally meant for their glorification only, then Lord Sri Hari, the spiritual master, and the Vaishnavas make such persons bereft of all their skills and abilities. When the living entity engages his knowledge and talents in the service of Lord Hari, he is bestowed upon with unlimited blessings of Sri Hari, Guru, and the Vaishnavas. If he on the contrary becomes arrogant or envious of the Vaishnavas, then he or his spiritual master or his spiritual life is doomed. The original source of all potencies is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. Therefore, all opulence as well as worship, adoration, and all kinds of respect should be only offered to Him for His enjoyment. Purport. प्रतिष्ठा तरु जद माया मारु ना पेल रावण युधिया राघवा वैष्णवी प्रतिष्ठा तते गुरुनिष्ठा ताहा ना भजी लीला बिलवा दुष्ट मन stanza 4. Ravan was so mad after his own fame and glory that he wanted to capture the position throne of Lord Ramchandra. He was so much maddened with pride that he thought that he could defeat God himself in the battle. But he was not fortunate enough to have that glory. Instead, his pride became the cause of his complete destruction. When the living entity defies God's authority and becomes too much puffed up with pride, being overconfident about his limited abilities and bodily strength, then he has to face the same consequence as Ravan did. Therefore, whatever name, fame, and worship one may get, he should offer them all at the lotus feet of Sri Hari, Guru, and Vaishnava without the least desire to enjoy them on his own. Thinking oneself as the servant of the servant of the servant of Guru, Vaishnavas, and the Lord, only then the abilities imparted by the Supreme Lord can be said to have been properly utilized. I am great, I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. By my own strength, I can accomplish anything and everything. One is advised to give up such harmful mentality. Rather, it is in the living entity's real interest to adopt the view that I am just a minute living entity, an eternal servant of the servant of Sri Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas. All my abilities are due to their causeless mercy. They are the mechanic and I am just a simple machine. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur will often cite this story from the Upanishads. This serves as a good instruction to guide us to always cultivate non-duplicitous ideals within the heart. Second, Indra's and Virochana's learning from Lord Brahma. Once Lord Brahma
Table of contents. First is pride and humility. Second is Lord Indra's and Virochana's learning from Lord Brahma. Third is Nachiketa. Third is Jana Sukriti and Raikova. Satyakama Jalaga. 7. Arjuna Nikla.
7. Arjuna and Eklavya. To many, the devotion to Guru, as shown by Eklavya, may appear idle. However, it is felt necessary to make an observation on this matter through serious examination. Eklavya was the son of King Hiranya Dhanur and belonged to the Nishad community, Chandals or lower caste, which is a forest dwelling tribal considered to be Shudras or at the lowest strata in the social hierarchy. One day, Prince Eklavya approached the great preacher Dronacharya with the desire to learn the science of archery. The Acharya, knowing that Eklavya belonged to the lower caste, declined to initiate him into the science of shooting arrows. However, Eklavya was determined to learn the science of weaponry only from Dronacharya, and thinking thus, he entered a forest. There he prepared a clay figure of Dronacharya and started practicing in the presence of this imaginative guru. Soon he became expert in archery. Arjun happened to be the dearest disciple of Dronacharya, and the Acharya had affirmed that none of his disciples shall be as learned as Arjuna. One day on the order of Dronacharya, both the Kauravas and the Pandavas ventured out of the capital to go hunting in the forest. On the way they saw that the dog that was leading the party had its mouth filled with 7 arrows, which had been very dexterously shot, all at the same time. Everyone was completely amazed upon seeing the wonderful sight. Understanding that the person who had shot these arrows was certainly much more expert in archery than even the Pandavas themselves, they began to search for this person. Later they found out that Eklavya, the son of Hiranya Dhanur, had shot these arrows into the mouth of the dog. The Pandavas, upon arriving back to the capital, approached Dronacharya and informed him about the extraordinary incident. Very humbly, Arjuna submitted to Dronacharya that the Acharya had a disciple who was far more expert than himself, Arjuna. Dronacharya was very much surprised to hear this. He went along with Arjuna into the forest, and there he could see that Eklavya was continuously showering arrows, and he appeared as if he completed his job in his practice of shooting arrows. Meanwhile, Dronacharya went near Eklavya. Suddenly, upon seeing the Acharya in front of him, Eklavya offered his prayer, and while proclaiming himself to be his disciple, offered his prostrated of the senses with folded hands. Dronacharya told Eklavya, "Bring your Guru Dakshina," offering it to the teacher in gratitude to the student. Eklavya replied, "Whatever you demand from me, I am ready to offer." Dronacharya told Eklavya to cut off the one finger from his right hand and offer it to him as his peace. Eklavya carried out the instruction without hesitation. Eklavya carried out the Guru's order with a composed mind without any complaint whatsoever. Firstly, even though the Guru rejected Eklavya saying he belonged to the lower caste, he did not lose faith in Dronacharya and then prepared a clay figure of him to learn the science of archery from the imaginative clay figure of Dronacharya and thereby establish the ideal devotion to the Guru. On the other hand, because Arjun became envious towards Eklavya due to Eklavya having achieved his expertise by his own ability, this uncommon expertise was rendered futile by the agency of Dronacharya. This is the conclusion of the common man. But the Vaishnava conclusion or the true conclusion is different. God or the Supreme Personality Godhead is the absolute truth. Devotion service unto Him and the process followed in that service is also absolute truth, and His devotees too are the absolute truth. God, devotion service and a devotee, these are the three truths. Everything about the devotee is good, whereas qualities found in non-devotee are considered to be faults, as these qualities are not utilized in service of God. Those who consider the laws of material nature to be greater than God Himself, they remain bereft of the knowledge of the absolute truth. Such class of men are called Mayavadi or impersonalists and are unable to accept the oneness of God, the devotee, and devotion. It is necessary to examine the fault in Eklavya. Eklavya had put on the mask of dedication to the Guru, but in reality he was an offender to the Guru. Whether the Guru rejected Eklavya, considering him to be low-born, or whether it was meant to be a test taken on purpose, or for any other reason whatsoever, Dronacharya had declined to teach him the skills of archery, and the proper or ideal response from Eklavya would have been to immediately accept the order of the Guru upon his head.
Yes.
But such a genuine
Eight
dedication.
minutes. I saw that. Yeah, it is now. There is Mayapur land location. Next is Sakhinivas and the second.
Whether the Guru rejected Eklavya considering him to be low born,
So there is 9:45 to 10 Guru Puja, then 10 to 10 reading announcements, 10 to 11:41 and a half hours Mayapur land allocation, Gayatri breaks, 12 to 13:30 Sakhinivas update, then lunch break, then DT ministry report, CPO report and straw vote. Hmm? Sorry?
Read it again.
Read again. There is Mayapur land allocation, there is Sakhinivas update, and after lunch break there is DT ministry report, CPO report, straw voting. Hmm?
Report.
Sorry?
Report.
I'll get a printout before that.
it is necessary to examine the fault in Eklavya. Eklavya had put on the mask of dedication to Guru, but in reality he was an offender to the Guru. Whether the Guru rejected Eklavya considering him to be low born, or whether it was meant to be a test taken on purpose, or for any other reason whatsoever, Dronacharya had declined to teach him the skills of archery, and the proper or ideal response from Eklavya would have been to immediately accept the order of Guru upon his head. But such a genuine deliberation did not arise within the mind of Eklavya. Rather, he desired to become the most famous. Since it is against the custom to proclaim to have learned something without accepting an external teacher, or it would hamper his dreams to become the greatest, Eklavya therefore established the clay form of the Guru. His main purpose was to prove that this form made him great, or it taught him the science of archery. It was not his one pointed desire to sacrifice himself for the sake of his teacher. Some might say that Eklavya
Vasugosh wrote, Dear Gopal Krishna Maharaj and Prabhu, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj wrote to me that he is presently traveling in Bangladesh and would not be able to attend GBC India Leaders Meeting on Friday afternoon. Alternatively, I saw Shukdev Maharaj from Nellore is at Mayapur and attending the ICC meeting. If there is no objection, can we invite him to attend in place of BVKS? Thanks for letting me know. I have not contacted him so far. To this, Shankatari Prabhu replied, okay for me. This is 3:50 in the morning. Shankatari replied at 4:40. Vasugosh Prabhu writes, thanks. I don't think the others will object, so I will go ahead and inform Maharaj. There is not much time before the meeting. It may also be that he is ready to. He is already leaving Mayapur before that. I don't know. So that was one thing. And then he says Devkinandan Prabhu has written that he cannot attend the meeting on 13th from 4 to 7 as he has a students program. So I feel that we should not once again postpone the meeting. He should adjust, but I am willing to agree whatever the rest of you feel. So I can discuss this.
Some might say that Eklavya, at least at the end, without any protest, carried out the selfless order of the Guru. But upon grave and subtle consideration, one will observe that Eklavya has still considered morality or social customs to be more glorious than the attitude of pure devotion service. When the teacher asked for anything as fee that should be offered, Only this customary responsibility made him cut off his fingers. In reality, Eklavya did not offer that with faith and devotion in the Guru. The way of devotion is spontaneous and simple. Had there been spontaneous and positive devotion in the heart of Eklavya for Sri Hari, Guru and Vaishnava, then Eklavya's attitude toward Guru Dronacharya, the topmost Vaishnava, Arjuna and Lord Krishna would not have become unfavorable. The effort of Eklavya to learn archery or become great in this manner was not approved by his Guru. Deep within the recesses of Eklavya's heart was desire and effort to become more famous than Arjuna, the greatest Vaishnava. The desire to become greater than a Vaishnava is not bhakti or devotional service, rather it is non-devotional or the ways of unscrupulous people who wish to make incompatible comparisons.
What are the next story? Next story.
Next question. 9. Eight. Duryodhana's self-delusion. Duryodhana's self-delusion. Shall I read this one?
During the burning of Khandava forest, Arjuna gave protection to the Maya Danav, who was an expert craftsman. Maya Danav, the best among skilled craftsmen, created the most amazing assembly hall for Dharamraj Yudhishthir to perform the Rajsuya sacrifice. This beautiful hall was created with fine marble, exquisite pearls, diamonds, and other jewels that it attracted the attention of all citizens on the earth. Receiving an invitation to attend the Rajsuya sacrifice, Duryodhana too arrived. When he entered the hall for the first time, he was burning with envy seeing the opulence. In front of him was the courtyard of the hall, whose floor was made of clear transparent crystals, which created the illusion that made one to feel that it was a water reservoir. Thinking that there was water in front of him, Duryodhana pulled his clothes off as if one wanted to wade into a pool. All the guests present noticed Duryodhana's behavior and began to clap their hands and laugh at him. Going ahead a bit further, Duryodhana came upon an actual water reservoir which was calm and as clear as a crystal floor. Duryodhana began to consider within his mind, earlier I made the mistake of assuming the crystal floor to be a pool of water. This time I shall not be fooled. I am sure that what lies ahead is a floor made of polished stone. Thinking in this way, Duryodhana walked ahead and fell into the pool of water. Seeing this, all the assembled dignitaries again began to laugh loudly while clapping their hands. Later on, Duryodhana, considering a transparent crystal world to be a passage way, tried to walk through, but instead hit himself on the wall and fell down. Thereafter he came across a similar passageway and thinking that he could again become cheated like before, he refused to go through it. Being illusioned again and again in this manner, Duryodhana's mind began to burn incessantly in the fire of insult. Then with a great agitated mind he returned to his residence. This was also one of the main reasons for the great war waged by the Kurus and the Pandavas. Purport. Duryodhan, Du plus Yodhana, means one who is on the path of injustice, who wants war and desire to enjoy sense gratification. His way of thinking was that he must be the only one to enjoy the whole earth, and as such to the Pandavas, who are pure devotees of Krishna, he would not even give that much amount of land to even drive in a pit. And Yudhishthira, Yudhi plus Sthira, Dharamraj means one who is fixed upon the truth and would go to war following all the codes of conduct followed on the battlefield. To fulfill the desire of Krishna was his one and only desire. However, people like Duryodhana remain always envious of devotees who are always determined to fulfill the desire of Krishna and the spiritual master. When one looks at the activities of the devotee with an envious mind, then everything the devotee do seems to be non-justified. Because of such an envious attitude, they end up declaring war against the devotees. The conditioned living entities desiring to enjoy material sense gratification take up enmity against the devotees and as a result become illusion to see land where there is water and water to be land. They mistake the place of shelter as a place where there is no shelter. Instead, they approach a shelterless place and try to take shelter there and thus get drowned. The association of devotees is a true shelter, whereas Maya is the shelterless. If one becomes envious of devotees, then he has to glide down to the deepest abyss of Maya. Because of their enviousness toward devotee and God and Maya, the Mayavadis or the impersonalists go through a similar ordeal and make this and this makes them fall down from their exalted positions. Shall I read next one? 9. Dhritarashtra's beating Bhima's iron statue. All the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra were killed by the Pandavas, and among them Bhimsena.
Take your point, please. Take your point and
Yes, Mahesh. Read. Okay. 10 is Indra in the form of a hawk and Lord Brahma. 11 Ravana's kidnapping illusory Sita. 12 Parikshit and Kali. 13. 12 Parikshit and Kali. Parikshit and Kali. One day, Maharaj Parikshit and his Digvijay, the tour to conquer all directions, arrived at Kurukshetra, where he came upon a bull and a cow conversing at the bank of river Saraswati. The bull was struggling to walk with only one leg, and the cow was incessantly shedding tears. The bull, seeing the cow crying in such a manner, spoke as follows: "O mother, are you crying because you see me struggling to walk on one leg? Are you in sorrow, thinking that the Shudra kings or the lowly rulers will exploit you? Or are you in anxiety, seeing that these days nobody is engaged in performing sacrifices and the demigods no longer receive their share of the sacrifice? Are you feeling shocked, thinking that since Indra is no longer getting his share of sacrifice, which would render him incapable of bestowing sufficient amount of rain like he used to do before, and as such all people will face severe difficulty? No longer do the husbands or the fathers strive for the welfare of their dependents towards the wives or the children respectively. Instead, they behave like demons and treat them mercilessly. No longer do the people approach the Brahmanas with proper etiquette. On the contrary, they have become immunicable towards the Brahmanas, who are the well-wishers of everyone. Are you drowning in sorrow by seeing all these? Lost in the glare of Kali's attractions, the unqualified and lowly Kshatriyas or administrator will cause destruction of the whole nation. The citizens will give up following the scriptures and will behave independently according to their own whims. They will be impelled to eat food, drink water, recite, take bath, and indulge in adultery wherever and whenever they like. Seeing such a condition, are you being distressed? O Prithvi, Lord Srihari, the Supreme Personality Godhead appeared within this material world just to minimize your burden and enacted such sweet and most wonderful pastimes which are much more relishable than the happiness derived from liberation, moksha itself. Are you in such intense grief because the same Supreme Lord Sri Hari has now departed from this world? This bull with the only one leg is Dharma, Yamaraj himself, and the grief-stricken cow is the earth, Vasundhara, Bhumi. Mother Earth replied to the questions raised by Dharma. O Dharma, I am expressing my grief for all those who have become enamored by the influence of the most sinful Kali. I am grief stricken thinking about the misfortune which has befallen you, myself, the demigod, the sages, saintly persons, the varnas or the social orders, starting with brahmanas and the ashramas or spiritual orders starting with brahmacharya. Thereafter Parikshit saw that a Shudra dressed as a king was beating the bull and the cow mercilessly with a baton. The bull, who had already lost his three legs, was passing urine out of fear, and the cow was wailing just like a mother who has lost her children. King Parikshit, seeing the inhuman torture that was being inflicted upon the poor and helpless creatures in the lonely place, immediately decided to kill the Shudra. He first of all gave protection to the bull and the cow and relieved them from all fear. He then asked the bull how he lost his three legs. The bull explained to the king that in Satyug he had four legs, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The three legs, austerity, cleanliness, and mercy, were already lost prior to the arrival of Kali. Now Dharma was making an effort to somehow stand on just one leg in the form of truthfulness, which was also under the attack of the onslaught of Kali. At that moment, King Parikshit realized that the bull was Dharma himself. The king pacified Dharma and Mother Earth and immediately prepared to kill Kali, who appeared in the form of the Shudra. Seeing no other means to save himself, Kali gave up his pretentious royal attire and fell at the feet of King Parikshit and began to plead for his life. As it is not the conduct of a ruler to kill a person who has surrendered himself, Parikshit told Kali, you need not be fearful for your life, but you cannot reside within the jurisdiction of my kingdom. Along with you reside greed, falsehood, the tendencies to steal or commit robbery, enviousness, or renunciation of occupational duties, poverty, the tendency to cheat, quarrel, irreligion, conspired by pride. Therefore, where dharma and truthfulness reside, where devotee reside, under no circumstances can you have your residence there. Kali implored to Parikshit, O king, I am unable to see any place of residence where I can stay within your kingdom. I am surrendered unto you. Therefore kindly ascertain a place where I can reside. Parikshit replied, where people engage in a gambling, indulge in various intoxicants, partake in illicit association with others, like or excessive attachment to women, and engage in cruel acts against other living entities, all four of which comprise irreligion, you may stay in these four places. I grant these four places to you. Hina, after getting these four places, Kali requested for one more place where he could reside, and Parikshit granted Kali as his residence, the place where gold is kept. Along with gold reside falsehood, false ego, lusty desires, violence, and enmity. From then on, Kali has been residing in these five places. Therefore, if any sincere person wishes for auspiciousness, specifically with regard to religiosity, king, leaders of the society, and our spiritual master, he is strictly forbidden to engage in any of the above activities. Maharaj Parikshit re-established the three broken limbs of Dharma, represented by austerity, cleanliness, and mercy, and restored Prithvi to her full glory. Purport. Those who desire eternal auspiciousness and who hanker for the service to the holy name, to Bhagwan or God and his devotees must at all costs perform Hari Bhajan or devotional service by staying away from these places under all circumstances. In the life of a devotee, there should be no room for misconduct, adultery, illicit association with women, and attachment to intoxicate, attachment to wealth, killing other living entities, falsehood, violence, enviousness, pride, or any activity which enhances the mood of passion and ignorance. They should always be situated in one perfect devotional attitude toward Sri Hari, and by the means of discussing and preaching about Krishna consciousness, they should act for the eternal welfare of themselves and others too.
Next one.
Next is Sati and Daksha.
Next.
14, Dhruva. King Uttanpad, the son of King Uttanpad, the son of Swayambhu Manu, had two twins, Suniti and Suruchi. Among the two, the second twin, Suruchi, was very dear to the king. Once King Uttanpad took Uttama, the son of Suruchi, and was fondling him very affectionately. Seeing this, Dhruva, the son of Suniti, also developed a desire to sit on his father's lap. However, the king did not even glance at him. Understanding Dhruva's desire, puffed up with intense pride, Suruchi spoke to Dhruva. No doubt you are the king's son, but you are not eligible to sit on the throne. If at all you desire to sit on the throne, then you will have to please God by performing austerity, and by his grace take birth from my womb. Hearing such words devoid of compassion from his stepmother, Dhruva felt hurt and went to his mother. Suniti too felt hurt when she heard from others how Suruchi spoke such cruel words to her son. With a heavy heart, she said, My dear child, you are having to face such a situation only because you took birth from the womb of an unfortunate mother. If you wish to sit on the throne of the king, then follow the words of your stepmother and try to please God. Except for the mercy of Lord Sri Krishna, who is very dear to his devotee, there is no other means to remove your suffering. Surrender unto him completely and worship him. Hearing the words of his mother, which expressed her sorrow and yet was replete with valuable instructions, Dhruva fixed his mind and intelligence to worship Sri Hari and became determined to go to the forest. Having understood the desire of Dhruva, Sri Narada appeared before him and spoke as follows. My dear child, providence is the cause of one's happiness and distress. In order to obtain the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the following the path of yoga is enunciated by your mother and would be extremely difficult. Even the great sages failed to achieve this after thousands of years of severe austerity. Dhruva, after hearing the advice of Devi Srinath, replied, O Lord, by following which process shall I be able to achieve the most elevated platform, which even my forefathers or anyone else could not be able to achieve? Kindly instruct me. Devarshi Narad said, My dear child, all of one's desire get fulfilled simply by rendering devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. Therefore, please go to the secret forest of Madhuvan, situated on the banks of Yamuna, and worship Lord Sri Hari. Instructing Dhruva in this manner, Sri Narada initiated by giving him the most confidential 12 syllable mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Following the instructions of his spiritual master, Dhruva carefully worshipped the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Sri Hari, who is always very affectionate to his devotees, became extremely pleased with the unalloyed devotion service rendered by Dhruva. He appeared before Dhruva and imparted the knowledge of devotion service unto him. Dhruva offered his prayers to Lord Hari as follows. My dear Lord, you are like the wish-fulfilling tree, for you fulfill the desire of all living entities. Those who take to your worship aspiring for other things besides attaining loving service unto you are certainly bewildered by Maya, your illusionary energy, because they are attracted by the temporary objects of sense gratification. Such sense gratification is also available in the hellish planets. My dear Lord, the bliss that one obtains by meditating on the lotus feet and by hearing about the pastime from the continent of devotees is not available even to those who have achieved the stage of realization. Therefore, even the creation of the demigods is very insignificant. O Ananta, I pray to you to grant me the association of those pure devotees who are constantly engaged in your devotional service. In the association of such enlightened devotees, for one's devotees are still able to hear about your powerful pastimes. And now, this process I shall definitely be able to very easily cross over
this dreadful ocean of material existence. Being satisfied with Dhruva's prayer, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ever affectionate well-wisher of his devotees, said, O Subrat, one who performs austerity with nicely, may you achieve all auspiciousness. I have understood your desire. I grant you the all effulgent position, that place which until now no one has been able to occupy. Dharma, Yamraj, Agni, Kashyap, Indra, the sages performing the austerities of Vanaprastha and Saptarishis or the seven sages Brahma along with their wives continuously circumambulate this planet. My dear child, your father will hand over the responsibility to rule over the earth planet to you, and then he will leave for the forest. You shall righteously rule over your kingdom without anxiety for 36,000 years. Your stepmother Suruchi was violent towards you. Although you never desired to act violently against her, still I never tolerate anybody showing envy toward my devotees. But being violent to you, her son Uttama will perish in the forest while pursuing her deer, and she, extremely aggrieved for being unable to see her son, will enter a forest fire while searching for him. Because of worshipping me, you will be able to constantly remember me, and ultimately you shall be able to come back to my abode. Saying thus, the Lord disappeared from the vision of Dhruva. All of Dhruva's desires got fulfilled, no doubt, yet his heart remained unsatisfied. In that disheartened condition, he returned home. Even though he received the association of the Lord and saw his very lotus feet, he did not ask for the opportunity to serve his lotus feet eternally. Therefore, he began to lament as follows: Alas, just look at my misfortune. I was fortunate even to I was fortunate enough to be situated at the shelter of those lotus feet of Sri Hari, which removed the repeated cycle of birth and death, and yet I only asked for flickering temporary sense object. It is very difficult to please the Supreme Lord and the deliverer from material existence simply by austerity and penance. Even though I was able to satisfy him by performing penance, still I only asked for temporary material existence. Alas, just like the ignorance of man who goes to the emperor of the kingdom and asks for a handful of cotton wool, similarly I ask for the most insignificant temporary material object from Lord Sri Hari, the performer of inconceivable and wonderful activities. Sri Hari appeared before me and was ready to award unto me the bliss of pure devotion service. Yet out of my foolishness I asked from him that object which would cause me to receive my false ego. On the other hand, King Utanka, hearing of Dhruva's return, became most jubilant and heartily welcomed his son. Because of associating with his saintly son, Utanka received proper intelligence. After some time, he handed over the king to his son and left for the forest to perform devotional service unto Lord Hari. Purport. Dhruva and Prahlad showed characteristics of ideal devotees from early childhood. But there are some significant qualities worth looking into within the devotional service rendered by both the great devotees. From the very beginning, Prahlad did not manifest any desire to obtain any kingdom or material opulence by performing devotional service. Although Dhruva's devotional service is also ideal, it is observed that in the beginning he desired to get his father's kingdom, or he became deeply hurt by his stepmother's words, which were like sharp arrows, and desired to get affection from his father. Therefore, he resorted to performing austerity to gain the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Prahlad was offered an opportunity by Lord Nrsimhadev to ask for a boon, Prahlad replied thus: one who desires remuneration from his master in return for his service, he is to be considered a merchant and definitely not a servant. Dhruva too, as he continued to perform austerity with a desire to obtain a kingdom, when he was blessed with the good fortune to see the lotus-eyed Hari face to face, at that time Lord Sri Hari desired to give him a boon, but in reply Dhruva said, My dear Lord, I perform austerity because I desire to get a kingdom, but now I have received your audience. It is extremely rare for even for the demigods and the great sages. I am completely satisfied. While searching for an ordinary piece of glass, I have somehow found the most valuable touchstone. No more do I desire for another one. Therefore, we can learn from this ideal chapter of Yoga that to make a pure devotion service for the Lord, just to fulfill some material desire is not to be considered as true service. One should serve the Lord only to obtain His causes mercy so that he remains engaged in devotional service. When one is thus engaged, then even if there manifests some trace desire for sense gratification within the heart, by dint of the intense eagerness to always remain engaged in the service of the Lord, all such unwanted desires are completely destroyed. It should be kept in mind that by harboring material desires in the heart, one does not get the opportunity to serve Supreme Personality of Godhead. Intense greed to render genuine devotion service is the only means to become free from unwanted material desires and thus get the opportunity to be engaged in Lord's transcendental loving devotional service. Next is 15, Ritu, the idol emperor. 16 is King Prachin Bhari. Then 17, the 10 Prachetas. 18, Bharat and Brahmadev. 19, Ajamil. Ajamil. 19, Ajamil. In the city known as Puja, there was a Brahmin named Ajamil. He married a prostitute maid servant and lost all his Brahminic property because of the situation of the low class women. This fallen Brahmin, Ajamil, gave trouble to others by arresting them, by cheating them in gambling, or by directly plundering them. This was the way he earned his livelihood and maintained his wife and children. While he thus spent his time in abominable sinful activities to maintain his family of many sons, 88 years of his life passed by. That old man Ajamil had 10 sons, of whom the youngest was a baby named Narayan. Since Narayan was the youngest of all the sons, he was naturally very dear to both his father and his mother. Because of the child's broken language and awkward movement, old Ajamil was very much attached to him. He always cared for the child and enjoyed child activities. When Ajamil chewed fruit and ate it, he called the child to chew and eat, and when he drank, he called the child to drink also. Always engaged in taking care of the child, calling his name Narayan, Ajamil could not understand that his own time was now exhausted and that death was upon him. When the time of death arrived for the foolish Ajamila, he began thinking exclusively of his son Narayan. Ajamil then saw three awkward persons with deformed bodily features, fierce, twisted faces, and hair standing erect on their bodies. With ropes in their hands, they had come to take him away.
क्या करना वो कर दो हो गया ना ये दे
तो जी गुंजाओं की माला है ना तुमने गिटार स्टोरी पता नहीं लेते क्या
इसी को तब लेते हैं लगा है नीचे
अच्छा
ये अंदर रखने के लिए बाद में रखेंगे जय गिरिराज धरम
Om Gram Brahma Vishnu Devam Sarvalokam Vishnu Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Radha Krishna Shiva Abhidanasi Vitamana Saranai Paramansa Purnai Kripakari Pradasare Vrindavanavasi Morai Vilas Vilas Kunjendiyuva Nayane Haribo Sada